OAC. So, you want to join the fight? Let's talk about how. My name is Karen Boite, and I am part of the Ontario Autism Coalition's Board of Directors. And from time to time, we host Facebook Lives to discuss the work of the OAC and the issues that surround our community. Welcome once again to the belly of the beast as we pull back the curtain to reveal the inner workings of the OAC. My victims tonight are members of our Political Action Committee. Hi, guys. That's your cue to say hi.
Hello.
Okay.
Hey there. Hey.
Hello. Before we start, please note that this live chat has a companion piece. So check out our YouTube page for a video called Strategic Planning 2021 to 2022 with Tracy Chong. It's a good one. Standing by to answer your questions live tonight is our trustee president, Angela Brandt. Thank you, Angela. And PAC committee member, Rhonda AG. You'll know Rhonda from the OAC's Plinko Nights. Remember those back then? That's Rhonda. Thanks, ladies. Please feel free to post your questions live and they will respond as quickly as possible. Okay, so let's dig in. Everybody ready?
Think so.
You think so?
Ready. I'm
Okay,
always ready. Let's go.
Bruce.
Yes.
Bruce McIntosh, tell me about this motley crew of rabble-rousers that I see before me. What does the Political Action Committee do?
Friends like you can't imagine. All over the province, Northern Ontario, Ottawa, Toronto, where we've got members everywhere. We're the group that is scheming up how to actually execute that strategic plan on the ground. So we're the ones that got us official status as an advertiser under the law. Now we're, by the way, speaking of advertising, we're not the fundraising arm. There is now a fundraising committee, and that's going to make Rhonda really happy. But we're coming up with all the other ideas and quite a few tricks up our sleeves. We'll get those rolling right after New Year's. And last election, we were more about reminding the parties that, we were still here and there was more work needed to be done on the program. This time, we have lost so much ground that we are going to be more aggressive this time. We are going on the attack because 50,000 kids are being hurt, not just lied to, but hurt by this government. So we're going to advertise that. We're going to demonstrate that, but it's going to require money and people. So if anybody watching is at all interested in helping, there is no better time to get in the game than during an election campaign, because the politicians need our votes much more than we need them.
Bruce, tell me about some of our greatest hits in the past that the Political Action Committee launched out into the province.
I think the single greatest achievement was the billboard that wasn't. We raised money to put up a billboard in then Minister Todd Smith's riding out in Belleville, and had a contract and everything was said and done. We hadn't paid for it on the day that it started to run, but it got pulled down, and there was some politics behind that. The guy that's the property manager for the place where the billboard was just happened to be the father of Todd Smith's old chief of staff. So, that's how stuff works in places like Belleville. But they pulled it down, and the resulting media coverage was priceless. Priceless. We were on the front page of every local paper. The TV stations had the story. We were being muzzled. And it was far better than any billboard could have been. So that's the kind of thing we're coming up with, and I think you're really going to like what's next.
Hey, you organized a rally in front of Minister Fullerton's office recently. Why?
Yeah, well, Minister Fullerton is the MPP for Canada here in Ottawa. Earlier this summer, there was a cabinet shuffle and she became the minister in charge of the autism file. So we gave her a couple of months and nothing really happened. We all know nothing has really moved along. She hadn't really even addressed the community with any new information. So we kind of figured it was time to sort of welcome her, if you want to say that, and just let her know that we're not going to stay quiet and we're here and we've got tens of thousands of kids waiting. So at the very end of August, in the middle of that really quick federal election, we pulled together a rally. It wasn't one of our biggest ones, but we had about 40 or 50 people, and we didn't get as much media attention as maybe we would have liked. But there was an article that did come out. But given that it was right smack in the middle of the federal election campaign, we did pretty good, and the last weekend of the summer too. So not that it really seemed to help much. It hasn't made her seem like things are any more urgent. She still hasn't addressed the community really. If anyone watched Question Period this week, she lobbied a question and doesn't even seem to understand the autism file from what I can see. She doesn't even have the proper terminology when talking about the way the program is running. So it's not really instilling a lot of confidence in her. So us here in Ottawa will continue to sort of stay on top of her. And in the new year, that'll be something that we'll get back to for sure.
In the past, you had some Friday events in Ottawa, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been busy here in Ottawa, right? Because Bruce doesn't like to call her by name, but Minister MacLeod, Lisa MacLeod, was the minister in charge of the initial blunder of blowing up the Ontario Autism Program. And she's also based here in Ottawa. So when that all happened in 2019, we were on her a lot. And it wasn't just Fridays, to be honest. Fridays, I think for the first couple of months, it was every Friday. And then after that, there was a small group of us that were there at least 2 or 3 times a week, it seemed, until she got shuffled off of the file. And even then, actually, we still stayed on her just because we couldn't just not do something. So we were there quite a bit. And then, of course, we also have Jeremy Roberts here in Ottawa, who has also been involved with the autism file since he was elected in 2018.
Let's get to that in a second. Tony,
Yeah.
Tell me about Ford Fridays in Toronto. Oh, he's muted.
Sorry, let's start that over again. Well, similar to what the folks in Ottawa did, there was a great group of people that showed up to Ford's office every Friday for a couple hours. There was a lot of regulars, and some of us came and went, and yeah, they had themes. They made a good time out of a terrible situation, and
Yes.
we're hoping that we can get back to that.
We can get back to that possibly in the new year. So December the 18th, that's a special anniversary for the Ontario Autism Coalition. Kate, why is that a special date?
Yeah, well, actually, the anniversary itself is December 17th.
Oh, 17th,
But we
sorry.
made the rally December 18th. So you're right about that, Karen.
Okay.
December 17th of 2019, for those who maybe are watching and weren't involved with everything at that time, there was a press conference at Queen's Park. I wasn't there to attend, although Tony was, so he might be able to talk about that too. But nobody really knew what was going to be announced. Certainly weren't expecting to find out that the program that had already been delayed and the changes that were supposed to happen, and we'd been told repeatedly that it was the program was going to start on April 1st of 2020. They announced the week before Christmas that it's going to be an extra year. So it's going to be 2021. And keep in mind, this is pre-COVID, right? So, nobody knew that COVID was going to be around. We were waiting for this program, and they're now telling us 4 or 5 months out that it's going to be an additional year after that. There was a group of parents that were in the room. They weren't supposed to be in the room, but some other politicians from other parties, I think, made sure that they were able to be in there and listen. And the questions that they lobbied, one of them was, well, how can you put these parents through this type thing? And Jeremy Roberts, who is another MPP here in Ottawa, he sort of famously said, well, in the meantime, we're going to be giving out these interim funding allotments. And, as we all know, those amounts of money are not really enough to put kids who need intensive therapy into an ongoing, consistent program. And he basically famously said, well, you'll get this and it's better than nothing. And, nobody, it was just an awful thing to say. And I would have to think that even as it came out of his own mouth, he realized that, but that's what he said. So here we are 2 years later, unbelievably, with still no program. And so we came up with the idea that we should have a Better Than Nothing rally. And that's what we are doing on December 18th, which is a Saturday here in Ottawa, outside of Jeremy Roberts' office. And we're hoping it's going to be big. I know it's not ideal timing, especially the week before Christmas, but you know what? It wasn't ideal timing when he announced that terrible announcement the week before Christmas then either. So yeah, that's what we're doing, and we're hoping for really great turnout, and it should be great.
Tony, is it hard to organize a rally?
No. If you have great people around you, you make a couple phone calls, but it can be difficult, especially after 3 years of this. In the beginning, in February 2019, we could have a rally together in 24 hours. We're tired. It's getting harder. We have our kids to deal with, but it shouldn't be hard is what I'm saying. We have a big fight ahead of us. And if we can make these events, even if it's just for half an hour, 15, 20 minutes, we need to make the effort.
What's the point, Sarah, in having a rally if we have a government that won't budge? What's the point?
That's a really good question, actually. The point is to show strength and to support one another, number one, because we are all in this together. Our kids are all in this situation because of the decisions made by this government. So having a rally is really important. It brings us together, it brings spirit, but it also lets the community on whole know what's going on, because my mom knows about it, your parents know about it, our best friends know about it, but what about Joe Public, everybody else out there who votes? They need to know what's been happening with some of the most vulnerable populations in our communities. And when you put in that work, which is so worth it. I mean, I've run a lot of rallies here in the Sudbury area. They're always worth it. The people that come out are always so supportive. And so getting more people to know what's going on, it's really important.
So it helps people feel a little less alone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you're standing hand in hand with somebody that you've never met before, and they're there fighting for your child, and you can feel it. You can feel that they care about your children as much as you care about your children. And that's amazing.
Yeah, it's very special. Tony, tell me about the email campaign and the letters that you've received from the public.
So that was the OAP working group came up with an idea. Let's, because I was in a meeting with the ministry, and they basically, we were in a meeting a few times, and they said they never hear from families. So we said, okay, well, we're going to make sure that you hear from them. So we told them it was coming. It wasn't a surprise. And we have a list of, we have Minister Fullerton, we have some of her staff, Mason, and we have some of the bureaucrats, Jennifer Morris and Sarah Hardy, and we're asking people to also include their own MPP. And basically, it started off because people were not getting their second round of one-time funding. And now it's spread out to, any concerns, because they say they're not hearing from us. Well, we have proof, because every email I'm CC'd on and I see it, and we're seeing results. So if you're waiting for your second round of funding and they keep telling you that it's coming, send an email. Make sure we'll post that list of emails again, and also CC me. I'll check in after, maybe a week or so after you email. We'll just make sure that it's going, but it is getting results, and they are seeing these emails because we've had verbal confirmation that they've seen them and they're reading them. So it does make a difference. You
So
guys are doing amazing.
when you say they are not hearing from us, what are you referring to, Tony?
When I say they, I mean the government and the bureaucrats. So the government, the elected officials are, they come and go. The bureaucrats, they're working at the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services, and they're going to continue to be there when the next government is there. And they have a lot of pull and a lot of say and on the day-to-day business. So they were telling, the ministry bureaucrats and the ministry, the elected officials were also saying that they're not hearing these issues from families, which we know is not true. So by putting it in writing in an email, and
CCing
we're
Tony,
keeping data and CCing me, we can always, whenever we have a meeting, we can say, look, I have hundreds of emails from families that are desperately asking for your help.
how would
So it's time to get off your butts and help us.
Help the kids. So how can people reach you, Tony? What email address should they CC when they're sending their letters?
Tony, TONY .Stravato, STRAVATO at OntarioAutismCoalition.com.
Now we have a scribe behind the scenes who's going to bring up a whiteboard, but we haven't seen that yet. So I'm wondering, there we go. So you can reach Tony. Oh, and my sound has cut out. So it does interfere technically with what's happening. I hope people can hear. So Tony Stravato at OntarioAutismCoalition.com. Maybe you can stop sharing, please, Scribe, because my sound is out. Thank you.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, you can hear me loud and clear. Good. All right. I couldn't hear you. So Tone, I hear you're running for office. What's the matter? What's the matter with you?
Okay, a lot, but
traitor?
that's beside. No, I'm no traitor. I'm doing this for us. I'm going in independent.
What are you doing?
Well, it started off with I wanted to make sure that my current MPP was not elected, and if I have to go to every single door to spread awareness, I will. And it became into a thing. I have a real passion for helping people. I've learned from this tragedy that we've experienced that I think it might be something that, my calling. So I'm not running to be a politician. I'm running to be an advocate for the Durham riding. And hopefully if I can get in and win, I'll be an advocate for our community as well. So if you live in the Durham riding, consider to, and if you want to come help me spread awareness and go door to door, call me.
From time to time, this does happen, doesn't it, Bruce? Our own member of our own board member, Martin Buckingham, ran for school trustee. There's another gentleman on our education committee who also ran for school trustee. Some parents get fed up and do this. I think you ran too, didn't you, Bruce?
I've run for school board and I tried for a nomination as MPP at one point.
School board, not trustee.
Sadly, didn't make either one, but the flip side of that, and like Tony says, there's lots wrong with them, but man, I admire you for doing it. In the end, I'm almost happy that I didn't end up in that kettle of fish, because Queen's Park right now is quite the cesspool.
Yeah.
But you were this close.
So
Sarah,
my votes.
Plug your campaign. Go, Tony.
I was just gonna say I'm totally running as an independent. I'm not running so I'm already nominated. I have my signatures and the paperwork's all in. So And I know that people think that an independent candidate can't win or do anything, but you know what? In a minority government, I'll probably have a pretty important seat if I pull it off. So have a good one.
Well, you sure have a lot of people hanging out at your office. I think the chicks from the Six need a place to have coffee. So good luck to you, Tony. Sarah, you have a new role with the Ontario Autism Coalition. Congratulations on becoming
Thank
our
you.
volunteer coordinator. So tell me about some of the tasks that you'll be looking to fill over the next 2 months.
Okay, so the first thing on my agenda that I'm going to do, so first of all, thank you. I'm just a mom of 2 kids. One of them happens to be autistic, who has some skills and some time. And this opportunity came up, and I think it's going to fit. I hope it fits. and that's what volunteering your time with the OAC is all about. You give what you can when you can. So one of the first things that I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to the regional organizer. So I know that there's a lot of people who have already given their emails, their contacts, and things like that. But as Tony had mentioned, we're ramping up January 2022. All of the secret things that are going on behind closed doors, all of the hard work, you're going to start to see those things, and we're going to need you even more than ever. So the first thing that we can ask for is for the Better Than Nothing rally in Ottawa. So again, that's on the 18th of December and in Ottawa. So you can do something big or you can do something small. And what's really great, show up to the rally, support people, support your friends, support strangers, bring your family, bring your friends. That's one way you can do it. Number 2 would be by sharing the event on your social media. It's a really, I mean, if you have only a couple minutes to give, it's a great way to help out the cause. And then something else, if you are going to go, make signs, make extra signs, bring some for your friends. I've seen some clever ones in the past. You can always reach out to anybody on the pack. You can reach out on the OAC Facebook page if you have any questions coming up to the date for that kind of thing. The other thing that I had mentioned is that we're going to need people who are interested in all of the amazing work that these incredible people, and some of them are missing today, but these are some of the best I'm sitting with today, who've been working really hard on PAC endeavors. So the Political Action Committee. So what we want to do is we want to be prepared. We want to have as many people as we can doing whatever jobs you can do. You know, you all have skills out there, and I know you have amazing ideas, and I really want to hear all about them. One of the ones that we're thinking about too is Twitter. If anybody's really great at Twitter, we need people for Twitter storms, ideas for Twitter storms. Maybe you want to help out in a bigger capacity with the Twitter account. And one thing, we'll touch on this a little bit later, but one thing that I didn't even know a year ago, if you're on Twitter and you share somebody's post and you make a little comment above it, that's doing more than you could ever imagine. You're getting more attention to what the cause is and what they're saying. And it's a simple thing that you can do. Hey, if you can find 5 minutes at night, or even when you're in the bathroom, I'm sure lots of people do that on Twitter because it's the only time you have to yourself. Get out there, and you're doing more than you think you are, I promise. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is that we're always looking for people for fundraising opportunities. I know there are great ideas out there, and we really want to hear all about them. So that's kind of what I'm going to be working on. I want to set up people who are willing to help, and remember, any way you can. The simplest thing can mean the most sometimes.
Let me ask you about some individuals in the community who come up with incredible ideas. Tony, tell me about the parent in the Kawarthas with her silent partner.
Oh, Ashley, she's newer to the OAC, but she's come in like full blast, started her own group out in the Kawartha Lakes. So if you're out in the Kawartha Lakes area, just look up the Kawartha Lakes Autism Advocates group. So Ashley went and printed a life-size cutout of Doug Ford and has decided to start traveling around. She's hit up the Durham region a few times. She's been to Ford's office. She's a trooper. She stands out there and she gets a lot of support just with her and Plastic Doug. So simple things like that. I mean, it's not a simple thing. It's, you know, a bit of a project, but if you want to do it yourself, she'll be glad to share the file with you and you can make one yourself. Just people seeing that. I've been with her downtown Bowmanville, where it's a very conservative, well, in my riding, very conservative riding, and we got a lot of honks and support. And the sign says, "I lied to autistic kids." So she's doing awesome. She's got a bunch of other initiatives. So if you're in the Kawartha Lakes, definitely reach out to Ashley.
It reminds me of McGintio, Bruce. Can you tell us about McGintio?
McGintio is one of my favorite things that we ever did. We've been around now 17 years, and our first battle was with the Liberal government under Premier McGuinty, who was in there before Kathleen Wynne. But he had written a letter to a mom saying that he was going to end what was at that point an age 6 cutoff, and he was going to get services into schools. But after he got elected, not only didn't he do that, but he kept defending against a lawsuit that wanted them to. So, you know, again, more lies. So one of our dads, really creative guy, runs a company that does fine woodworking. And he had a CNC machine. It's a computer controlled cutter that he programmed with the shape of Dalton McGuinty. And we put it up on casters, life-size cutout, put a picture on it, except there was a hole where his nose was. And we rolled him out in front of McGuinty's office up in Ottawa. We owned the Ottawa media that day. I interviewed McGintio, and as I interviewed him and Dan crouched down behind, gave the answers, the nose came out farther and farther. And it was priceless. If you know where the office is, you'll know that on the other side of the street, there's a little bit of an embankment. And a lot of the electronic reporters, the photographers and camera people had set up over there because it was a pretty good point of view. When they saw McGintio, it was like something out of Braveheart. They came down the hill, running across the road. One guy was like inches from getting hit by a car. But we were on the front of the Citizen, we were on the front of the Sun, the Transit paper. We were everywhere for the next 24 hours. It was priceless. And we, because it was computer controlled, got about, I don't know, 10 or 12 of them. And they started going around all over the province. It was great fun.
Tell me about the importance of smaller actions in smaller communities, Bruce.
Well, listen, one person can have a huge impact. You know, Tony's talking about what Ashley's doing. I mean, there was a by-election and we took McGintio, Susan Pierce and I, just the two of us. We got him out on the street corner and the Sun ran a picture of us. You know, one person with the right opportunity and the right kind of visual that gets the media interested, you can have a huge impact. So
makes me think of
Stacey
Kennedy. Tell me, gang, what impact did Stacey have on you? Kate, tell me about Stacey Kennedy.
Well, you know, Stacey, I know Stacey a little bit. She's just incredibly brave. To stay there in front of that office in Toronto for what was it? It was over a week, right? Or close to a week, I think it was, regardless, even if it was one night. Just incredibly brave. And
so what did she do?
What's that?
What did she do to just for people who might not know?
I guess a little bit of so Stacey, this was back in September. Stacey has been waiting for a very long time to get support for her son. Her son has autism, but even beyond that, he has a lot of nutritional issues with eating. And she had literally tried everywhere to get support and just was not getting it. And, you know, you get to a point where it's like, well, what do I have to do? And for her, that was, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm going to go, and I'm going to go in front of Doug Ford's office, and I'm going to camp out there for as long as it takes. And she did it, and it was amazing. She got quite a bit of attention. I mean, for a mom to, there was some cold nights there too, you know. Now she had her vans that she could actually sleep inside, but she stayed there for a long time until somebody finally came and talked to her. And you know, that isn't a little thing, that's a big thing, right? But it's little in that it's one person, and it's amazing what one person can do. And that's why when we look at these protests, it's great when we can get big numbers. And I mean, I think in the new year, Bruce could probably verify this. We've been talking about, yeah, of course, we're going to have another Queen's Park rally at some point. And those are great because we can get, hopefully, large crowds. But even these smaller protests are incredibly important because, as you've already touched on, so many people in the community don't understand that what we're still fighting for. How many people have kind of thought, oh, that autism situation, that all got sorted out. We stopped hearing about it, so that's all done with. It isn't. For 50,000 children, we're still waiting. It's outrageous that this government has sat on this for over 3 years now. They froze the wait list 3 years ago. So the fact that we're still here is incredible, and we need to get out there, whether it's one person in front of an office, whether it's 5 people in front of an office, or whether we get 100 people in front of an office. We get the people going by and seeing that we're there, holding our signs. We hopefully get a little media attention, and it gets our message out there, and it's so important.
Sarah, there's some people out in the community who are nervous about going to a rally. They've never done anything like that before. They're not rebellious by nature. Can you get in trouble if you go to a rally?
Well, first thing, what's rebellious about sticking up for the needs of your children? Nothing, right? Every parent out there is going to do whatever they can to support their children and get them what they need to thrive. And that's all we're doing. So I've been involved in a lot of rallies, and you know what the police are there for? To support us, to keep people safe. We're out there together. I've never gotten in trouble. I just want to kind of add to Kate's point too. As a whole, as parents, as the OAC, as our individual advocacy groups, as the other titles that we hold within the autism communities, we've tried everything. We've reached out to this government. We have had meetings with everybody we can possibly have meetings with. Letters have been written. All of these things have been done. And having a rally is just one of the things in our toolbox. Like Kate said, it's so important for everyone to get out there. It's amazing. Here in Sudbury, parents bring their kids all the time to rallies. It's a very safe place. You've got to run to the bathroom. You've got 6 parents willing to watch your kids for you. You know, it really is a very supportive place, and a place where you can meet new people and but also learn about yourself and the people around you. And you really realize you aren't alone. You're not alone. We're not alone. And we're still here. We're still here. I can't believe we're still here 3 years later after all of the work we've done, but we're not done yet. We're going to continue. And that's why we're here today, right? To let everybody know that you can join in the fight 3 years ago, 6 years ago, today. We want you. We want your help. We want you to be a part of this with us.
If somebody out in the community has a really great idea for an action, who should they talk to? Who do they need to contact?
They need to contact me.
And how do we get in touch with you, Sarah?
So I have a brand new Ontario Autism Coalition email. I think our fancy note taker is putting it up here. So Sarah at OntarioAutismCoalition.com. That's Sarah, no H. And so please come to me with your great ideas, because I know you guys have them. I know, and there's not a bad idea. There's not. And I'm willing to work with you to help you with OAC resources that we have, with ideas, connecting you with the right people and the right OAC committees, and promoting you. And that's something that I'm going to be doing moving forward too. Like we're all willing to promote any new ideas. All of us are parents. All of us started knowing that our kids deserved better and we needed to do something about it. And that's it. It's that simple. So please reach out if you have any questions at any time. Sarah at OntarioAutismCoalition.com. So I am very new. This is my first experience with the new title of volunteer coordinator. So bear with me as I work through the steps to help people the best that I can. But please, I will get back to you as soon as I can. And we want to work together. There's so many people here working so hard behind the scenes, and we want you guys to be a part of that.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, so let's wind down. Bruce, Tony, there's something happening in June next year. What's happening?
Oh, I don't know. You mean?
Well, if you don't know, then we're in
No,
big
I'm
trouble.
just kidding. I was doing the old no, I have no. June 2nd,
Me? What's happening?
2022. Be prepared to vote. But from now till June 2nd, 2022, we're going to be busy. We're working on something pretty special. Wheels are in motion. Stay tuned. And we're going to need and we need everybody on board. Do what you can when you can. Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting.
That sounds very mysterious. Bruce?
Election
Anything
day
happening?
is 6 months from today.
Today.
In fact, six months from this very minute, we'll probably have the results.
It's like we've designed this Facebook Live for a reason.
You got to wonder.
I will be sweating
clever
like this.
Karen, you're clever.
So, Bruce, wouldn't you say that the next 6 months, the OEC is in campaign mode? I would say that we're in a we're switching from our, trying to change things. This government hasn't been willing to change anything in our, they've worked with us a little bit, but we're at the point now where we want to let the province know that we've been let down, right?
That's right. And not only let down, I mean, if this was just, Doug Ford before the last election said he was behind us 1,000%, we wouldn't have to protest on the front lawn. If it was just that lie, but you got to remember, there were 23,000 kids on the wait list when these guys showed up. There's more than 50,000 now. They have more than doubled that wait list. That's not just a lie. That's hurting kids, hurting 50,000 kids, a group of kids that couldn't all get seats in the Sky Dome. That's the extent of the hurt that Doug Ford has done. We got to let people know about that, because we're up against the government communication machine. They get their talking points out. It goes out on wire services. It goes out on the government streaming service. Everybody hears what they want to say. But if what they say is not true, that's what we have to tell people.
Well, we're coming to a close. Sarah, you said I see you want to add something.
Yeah, I just want
last word to Sarah.
Whoa, why, thank you. I feel very honored. I just wanted to remind everybody that if you want to get involved, watch the OAC Facebook page. We will be posting, as well as our Twitter and all social media, what's coming up next. Calls out for needs for volunteers with specific skills, different ideas. Again, we're all always available, but you can email me at any time to let me know if you're interested. Even if you don't know what you're interested in getting involved in, I can help direct you. But just follow the OAC page and we'll let you know what's coming up next.
Lovely. Thank you, Sarah. So to recap, There is a rally on December the 18th in Ottawa. Contact Kate for further information and check out the Facebook page. Sarah is our new volunteer coordinator, and Bruce and Tony have a few tricks up their sleeves. We're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for help. Thank you, Scribe. Here are their email addresses. Leave that up there for a moment, please, Scribe. We hope that you found this information to be helpful, OAC. Advocacy is hard work, we know. But like we've been saying, you are not alone. No one is alone. If you're ready to join the fray, just a reminder, you can email any of the people here on the Political Action Committee. And thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us tonight. Special shout out to Sean and the other PAC committee members who could not join us tonight. Thank you to Angela and Rhonda for answering questions as we've gone along. And thank you all for your time and your energy. Don't despair. We ain't going nowhere. Right, gang? Right.
Never.
Yeah? Yeah?
Not a
Okay.
chance.
Good night.
Hopefully we do go away one day.
We want to be
Nice.
retired. Put us out of business. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.